Hi, welcome to Data Appreciation with Shino. And on this video, we'll be looking at a Coursera lab for creating visualizations with calculations and calculated fields. So you must have seen our earlier video where we had done something on our calculated fields. So now we're going to create visualizations with calculations and calculated fields. And this is my first time at this, so we'll be using the Tableau Desktop Public Edition. So we can also use the free Tableau Public online platform. So let's go to the Tableau Public Desktop Edition. So let's create a new file here. Okay, so let's close this. One second, let me arrange this. Okay. Okay, so what we do next is getting our data set. So I've downloaded this data set, and the data set is on the global sustainable energy. So I want to create visualizations using calculations and calculated fields. So first of all, we'll connect our data set. So we also have 21 fields and 3,649 rows. So let's come to our data set. Let's connect it. So connect our file. Oh, sorry, this is Tableau. This paid one. So let's go to the public edition. One second. So I like to do it on public so I can publish it later. So anyone who needs access to it can have access to it. So this is it for on Tableau public. So add this in. Let's connect. So it's a CSV file. It's a flat file. So pick text file. This is the file. Global sustainable energy. We open it. So like I said, we have 21 fields, 3,649 rows. So next, we drag country to rows and the value of CO2 emissions KT by country to columns. So first of all, let's go to our sheets. Take our country to rows. Then we have value of CO2 emissions by country to columns. Let's spread this out a bit. This is value of CO2 emissions by country columns. So you can see we have them arranged. So next is we'll in the right click in the shell here. That's this. Let's see what we're to do. We're to add a table calculation, and in the table calculation we'll pick the percent of total as the type, and then we close the dialog box. So we did something similar in the last video where we had a table calculation. So pick table calculation, percentage of total, sorry. So we add a table calculation, sorry, not a table calculation. So let's add a table calculation. Let's add a table calculation, say percentage of total, and Here the picked table down, and then we close. Let's also table down here, and we close the dialog box. So next, what we do is in the worksheet, we'll double click the sheet one title and rename it to CO2 emissions by country. So let's see if we can copy it, because not every time we have the opportunity of copying. So let's see if we could go this way. So we copy. So it took it. So we can just make this a bit bold. Apply this. So next, what we do is to in the table we hover over the right of the word country, and we see a pale gray bar. Then right click and sort ascending. So you can see the pale gray bar, sort ascending. So just like I said, the pale gray bar is there. You can see it's the pale gray bar here to the right. Click sort ascending. Okay. Oh, sorry, sort descending. I mean, not ascending, because that looks different. So it's sort descending from the highest, it goes down to the lowest. So the table now shows the country with the highest percentage of CO2 per capita at the top of the list. Next, we'll use a quick calculation to highlight countries with a value of CO2 above the global average. So remember, this is the second time we're picking the world global average. So we're going to create a calculated field. So we'll go to a new worksheet and we'll go to analysis, then we'll click on create calculated field. So go to a new worksheet. So we can either pick it from here, analysis, create calculated field, or we come here, create calculated field. So we have those options. So next, in the field, would pick global average CO2 emissions. We enter the value average CO2 emissions by country. So since we know it's on CO2 emissions by country, we just come to it, we select it, and we say create calculated field. So we don't need to type it in, so it's already in. So remember, Tableau works with V's SQL, so it's seen that there's a value there and it's a valid calculation since it's just a field. So remember, we're supposed to bring average in front of it, and we'll call it global average CO2 emissions. So we can just copy this out. So global average CO2 emissions. So once you type in it in, because the function, and remember, functions are capitalized. So we have average. So remember, why do we have an error here? Always read what the error says. So the error says maybe we're missing an operator. So we come here and do this. So one rule I always say when you're having average aggregation, always put this for you, the brackets. So that's what happened earlier. So our calculation is valid. We click apply and OK. So next, we would then create another calculated field and we call it above global average CO2 emissions. So above global average CO2 emissions. So let's enter this formula in. That is for a same emission by country greater than the average of the CO2 emissions by all countries. So when we have the parentheses, it's picking the entire data set. So let's go back here, create calculated field, Okay, so we can just let's see. So we have the title as above global average CO2 emissions. So next, what we do is drag the global average CO2 emissions to columns and country to rows. Then above global average to color in the marks card, and we'll come to the filter. So let's do that first. Global average using, remember it's an aggregation. Then we have global average CO2 emissions to the color on the max card before we filter. So we have false, true, and null. So we can see change the color along the line. So next, we'll filter the global CO2 emissions and select the include null values checkbox and apply it. We'll deselect the include null values checkbox and apply again. This will remove any null values in the table. Okay, so what we'll do is filter, include null values, apply. They include null values, next we then we also apply. So we have moved null values. So next we are going to edit our colors, which I tried to mention earlier. So for the colors, we'll pick the false as green and the true as red. So let's edit our colors. False as green and the true as red. So apply. So we'll scroll down to see China, and where it's false on the list, you can see it as true as red, and the emissions at 7,300,636,642. So also scroll down over by United States to see its value. You can see it as true and 5,329,539. So visualization now highlights countries with CO2 emissions that are above the global average, which we see very well much as is applicable to the USA and China. So we can save to Tableau Public if you are working on Tableau Public. So since I'm working on my device for now, just save. I see save to Tableau Public. So let's just save on the local device. For now, let's call this Tableau, Tableau Desktop. So this Tableau desktop public. So let's save it as global report studies. Let's save this as a book. So next, we'd also have to create some custom calculations to visualize the total electricity generated index based on multiple indicators. So we go to a new worksheet. In the analysis, we create calculated field. We call calculated fields first. Let's get the name of the calculated field. So we'll now pick electricity from fossil fuels divided by land area. So let's go there. So we have electricity from fossil fuels. Let's create a calculated field. So as I told you, I'm just doing the fastest way to create it. You can also come and create it as the instruction says from the analysis. So we have electricity. Let's create a calculated field. So it's electricity from nuclear. So let's start with electricity from fossil fuels divided by land area. We'll also create the one for nuclear. So electricity from fossil fuels divided by land area. So we have electricity from fossil fuels divided by, so pick land area and just drag it here and drop it. So remember this is fossil fuels by area. So apply. Next, we're going to do nuclear fuels by area, which is electricity from nuclear divided by land area. So we'll go to electricity from nuclear, create calculated field divided by land area. So next we're going to do the renewables by area, which is electricity from renewables divided by land area. So we create calculated field with its name, so divided by land area. So we just drag land area in the field, apply. So we have another calculated field, which is total electricity generated index. So remember, this is now going to be a aggregated calculated field. So we have three calculated fields on one calculated field. So let's come to create calculated fields. Have the name. So this is electricity from fossil fuel, electricity from nuclear, but we have our calculated fields as fossil fuels by area, nuclear fuels by area, renewables by area. So we have fossil fuels by area plus renewables by area plus nuclear fuels by area. So we have that in and we click OK. So next we're going to drag for a new sheet, we're going to drag total electricity and country columns. Okay, this where we have global average with emissions. So let us create our new sheet. So for our new sheet, we'll drag total electricity generated index. So first of all, total electricity generated index to columns, country to row, then total generated index to color, edit color, and we pick orange gold. Let's edit our color here. So from edit color, we change our color palette to orange to gold. So next, we'll click on OK, and we now sort ascending. So we click, and then we sort ascending. Best sort descending. Sorry about that. We have Singapore, Bahrain. So we have similar. So in the main menu, we click on Save to Public. So we can save the workbook to public. Keep the name as calculated fields. Click Save. So here we have total electricity generated index. So here we have global average CO2 emissions. We have CO2 emissions by country. So that's the so this authored by Steve Ryan for Coursera and Skill Up Tech. So here we come to the end of the lab on creating visualizations with calculations and calculated fields. Thank you very much and see you in the next video.